Well, to review, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, I'm going to have my wife paint this Cutlass thing so she can put the black back in the little groove that's there. So I'll probably take that off, give it to her. I'm going to replace this Cutlass emblem. It should be red in there. I'm also going to replace the side markers. These ones are pretty beat up and they're missing the red enamel or paint or whatever they use inside of there. So I've already put one of the new ones on the side over here. So here's what it'll look like when it's done. And then the other two things that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the gasket between this housing and the trunk, because water was getting in. So I'm pretty sure it's not the gasket for the light itself, it's the gasket between the housing and the back of the trunk. So that's going to be done. And then the last thing that's going to be done is changing out this bumper. And I've got a new bumper already here with bumper bolts, and it's a 442 bumper. So instead of having no cutouts, the new one will have the cutouts. And I also bought the trumpets for it, but I'll have to get a new exhaust before I can put that on. This exhaust system is pretty old. The other thing that I might tackle is going ahead and putting the proper finish back on this molding. That won't be too bad. I did it to the front already, and I did the front molding, and I think it turned out okay. You can reference back one of my old videos, or I'll put a picture up here of it. And then this is going to present some issues, because when I came in here I noticed some problems. And the problems would be, this should have a bolt on it. There should be a bolt here. There should be a bolt here. You can see there's one here, one missing here. One, you can see it's broken off. One is on here, one is on here, and one's missing. So I'm missing about 5 bolts to hold this on. And what I've seen they've done is they've put some black goop in here. And it's kind of like a tarry substance that stays, it doesn't harden. So it stays kind of squishy. And I'm guessing that that is help holding this on because of all the missing bolts. Now, I don't know how wise it is to try to take this off. But I'm thinking that I can weld on a stud on top of where the studs are already. You know, like right here, the stud has been busted off, and I'm sure if I cut it back some and put on a normal stud, I'd be okay. And then I think that that'll pretty much, oh yeah, just one other thing. I need to put some fluid inside of this convertible top motor. I think it's down some. I've never put any fluid in it. And right now, just trying to find the rubber plug. Okay, so I don't know how well it's going to come out, but back here there's a plug, and I'll film it better, that needs to come out, and you add the transmission fluid to that. So that's another task for this. So I guess the first thing to do is remove the bumper. The bumper is going to prevent me from taking these lenses off and fixing that problem. I can go ahead and knock out the replacing this side over here. I've already got the new one ready to go, so it's just a matter of putting it on. So there's only 4 bolts from what I can see that hold on the bumper, this one and this one. I've already been under there and kind of pre-looked around. but I'll go ahead and grab a light and show you what I see. You know, I was noticing, if you've been following me before on some of my other projects, you know that I painted the front of the car. Now, just looking here, I see a difference in shade of black. You might see it as the sun goes in and out between this black here and this black here on the trunk. So I'm not sure why that is. I've never even done anything paint-wise to this. All right, and what we have here is the tail light. So we have a tail light. We have the reverse light. For the passenger side, we're looking at the reverse light, which has got 2 bolts there on top of it, 2 nuts there that have to be taken off, and then hopefully the unit will pull out. I may have to take the lens off, the clear lens off that's on the bumper. I don't know yet. And then you'll see the 2 bolts that actually hold on the bumper. One in the front here and one further back. We'll be taking those off, and then that'll release the bumper. So there's only one more thing to take care of, and that's the license plate holder, which is over here. So you might be able to see, there you go, the reverse light, or the license plate light that's got to come out. There's 2 bolts that hold it on, one right there onto the bumper, and then the other one over here. So those 2 bolts have to be removed, and then the tail or the license plate light should be able to come out. And of course the same thing with the other 2 bolts on the other side of the bumper and the light. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, well, you're joining me now after I have taken apart everything that I wanted to get off the car. So obviously the first thing you'll notice is that the bumper's gone. And I ran into some problems taking off the bumper bolts directly. They were seized and not too interested in coming off, which made me have to take off the so this is the part that is holding on the bumper. It holds the bumper to the frame. So I ended up taking off the 2 bolts that mount this to the frame, and they're lying right here. So that wasn't even easy. I had to go back and forth. I have an air hammer or an air ratchet, a couple of different. I used the air hammer to get that off. I tried with the like the air ratchet, but it just wasn't strong enough to get it. So I went with the air hammer and got in there with a I think it's 11 on this one, 11/32 or whatever it is, 16ths, to get them bolts off on a universal joint in there. I'd have to try to take them off, then screw them back in, squirt some more penetrating oil on it, try to take them back off again, and just keep working it back and forth until they finally came off. Then they came off, and then I was able to pull the bumper off. Then I had the bumper on the ground, and then I had to release the bumper from the bumper frames, whatever they call this part. And 3 of the 4 came off really well, and then, well, they came off well when I had to use heat. So I brought my torch out and I heated them up, and 3 of the 4 came off with just the heat treatment. The 4th one was not interested. I ended up using a variety of techniques, but they all were not netting me a lot of progress. So I brought out the Sawzall and basically cut the bolt off between the bumper and the bumper bolt. So I just basically sheared off the bumper bolt right where it meets with the bumper. So I wasn't too worried about the bumper because it was being replaced, and I didn't really damage the bumper, but I cut it off right there and got the 4th one off and got these off. Then I turned my attention to the headlight or to the tail light bezels, and I took out the gaskets already. Now I just want to make one note that these sockets that go in here, they just pull out. I mean, it looks like you would turn them, but that wasn't my experience. My experience was you just pull them straight out. So you really don't have to spend a lot of time trying to do anything fancy with them. You try to turn them and they really don't turn. You just pull them right out. So same thing with the gasket here. It just pulls right off. I have the gaskets over here. They're kind of melted, and you can see they just are looking, I don't know, oily, greasy. I don't know what that's from. Melted, I don't know. But they were goopy and sticky. So I have some work here to go ahead and try to clean these up. I have to spend some time cleaning, you know, this area up. Maybe spend some time putting a little paint in. Maybe rattle can some of this after I clean it up, make it look decent, especially in this brace underneath the where the fuel tank is here. And you know, looking at it, looks like I should replace my fuel tank thing cover. It just doesn't look so great. I found the problem on my tail light, or on my license plate light. This isn't in great shape, this line, and I don't know if that's even, I haven't taken the cover off yet, but it wasn't working, so I have to get that fixed. Other than that, everything else seems to be okay. So this is just a bumper stop, stops the bumper from hitting the thing here. So I take that off and, you know, clean up a bunch of the area here. Doesn't look like I have a lot of rust to deal with or bad body work or anything, so no surprises there. But looks like there might be some undercoating here with some dirt laying on top of it that needs to be addressed. But other than that, you know, just gonna spend some time cleaning this up and then painting any areas that might need it. This is where I think the water was coming in, and there is some evidence that the water was coming in, and it might have been getting around here and then dripping down. Not that I see a ton of, where's my light? A ton of indication. There's a little bit of rust down in there. It's not too bad, but somehow there was some water getting into this trunk. So, you know, I'm going to take care of everything that I find. So, yeah, touch base with you on these things. These were the lights that were in the bumper. The only way to get these out is to first, what you're going to have to do is, this is the hole right here where the line is in the way. This is the hole right here. God, everything wants to fight me. The hole right there that the wire comes up. So basically there's a rubber grommet right here, and you have to get that rubber grommet out of the way. And so basically you just push the rubber grommet down in here. I had a little screwdriver. I just pushed the grommet down, unhooked the light, the tail light, or the backup lights right there, and pushed the grommet down, and then fed the wire through that hole, and then it was able to come out with the bumper. Let's see. So I think I showed you the brackets already, right? So the brackets go with on there through there. You have to put the wire back through there, and then it's okay. But yeah, same thing with the license plate. The license plate bracket, you have to take off once the bumper's off. There's no way to get to these bolts with the bumper on the car. So that's going to be a couple of the things you're going to have to you know, do after the car comes off. This will come with the bumper. So you'll pull them out, but you've got the wires and everything loose, so they'll pull out. And of course the reverse when you go to put this together. So you know, first things first is cleaning up this area, painting any areas that I need to paint, and really the only areas I think I'm gonna have to paint is like down here. It's a little rusty right there on this thing, and so far that's what I'm looking at. Pretty happy. There isn't too many surprises. I knew taking off a 50-year-old bumper was not going to go smoothly, and it didn't, not without a little work. So all right, well, the next thing is me doing some cleaning, some painting, and then bringing you back when that's ready. Okay. Well, I wanted to show you the removal of this trim piece here, and one little surprise that I got. I've already taken the bolt off, the nut off the back there. There are two prongs on here, as you might be able to tell. One's long and one's short. The short one doesn't really have a nut on it. It's got, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, some kind of plastic or metal-like looking little thing to help it stay secure in the hole. And if you actually look at the hole, you'll see that this hole here where that smaller peg in is much smaller than the hole that the one that utilizes the bolt or the nut uses. So I thought this was going to be a simple swap, and I didn't really even think much of it. I've had these parts laying around for a while, so I went ahead and grabbed the new one, and much to my surprise, it's a rocket instead of an S. So I'm not sure how that happened, but it's not the correct emblem, and it has the same layout, has one big side and one smaller prong. The smaller prong, what they do for you is give you this little green plastic, almost like what you'd find on a like if you're doing home improvement. They give you one of those little plastic things to screw your screw into, to tighten into walls. That's what it looks like, and it just fits on the end here of this. Slip it on the end there, and then you push it through, and then you've got one nut that goes on. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and put this on. I'll show you the hole that this goes through. So right up there you see the light coming through. There's an access hole here, and just big enough to get a socket. There's no way to get to that other little nub, so that's why they don't even give you any way to attach it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and we'll take a look when I get back. All right, and I was able to get the bolt on the screw in there, as you can see. It wasn't too hard to reach. That is a if I can find the size on here, 3/8. So 3/8 socket, long, on a 1/4-inch drive, and that's the way it looks. Now, looking on the packaging, it does say 442. So I don't know how I missed that. I guess I didn't think there was any difference between the 442 and the Cutlass S, but it'll stay there for now. If I can find a Cutlass S one, I'll probably change that out later, but for right now, that's the way it's going to look. I still have to take this off and get it painted, so I'll do that now. I think. Wow. Well, as you might be able to tell, there is no bolt holes for this, so there is no way to get there from here. This would be the first emblem that I found. That must just be a press fit that doesn't use any type of backing bolt, which would be a first. Well, let me take a closer look, and I'll get back with you. All right, and I've got things cleaned up, and I'm getting ready to prep for painting. So you might recall I pulled out the headlights, or the tail lights rather, and then I was cleaning up the tail lights, and I didn't really realize that there were so many parts or components to each one of these. So I wanted to paint this thing here. It's a little beat up. No dents or anything like that, just could have used a little bit of touching up. And then just took out the rest of it just to clean it, and you have the main housing piece, and then inside of there you've got a I'm not even sure why they have this in there, spreads out the light I guess, and then of course you have the main piece here, and then of course inside here in the main housing you have another little gasket going around there. So you know, even simple things can have a lot of components. So I'm going to get ready, paint the bumper brackets, and you know, I'm gonna hit this with that rust encapsulator, like encase the rust here, and then if it needs it, I'll shoot a shot of paint on it, and then I'll probably hit in here with some black paint. I'll just have to tape off some of these areas, touch it up a little bit in here, and we should be good to go. And once I get all that done, then it'll be time to put the bumper on and everything. So let me get ready to get this done. Well, I've got everything painted now, and I'm pretty happy. I still have everything taped up here and kind of left it as I painted it, just so you can see how I taped this up before I decided to paint it. Now, I didn't paint down here right in the corners. That's kind of like a I don't know, probably some kind of undercoating that has mud and dirt on it. I washed it off, but that's the best that it comes clean, so I just didn't feel like painting over that, and it just doesn't seem like it needs any extra protection. Other than that, I hit this bar with a paint or a rust conditioner. You know, you kind of brush it on with the brush, and then it hardens on there and kind of seals it up, so it makes it a good surface that you can paint on. Closed off the gas cap so I didn't paint it. Got under here. I don't know how well it'll come out, but I was able to get under there too. And everything went well. The only thing that happened was my tail light, or I keep saying tail light, but the light that goes to the license plate broke off, so I stripped the wire back, and I will put that on when I get a chance. I also painted the a couple of pieces down here. This is the ring that the tail lights go in. Also the reverse light holders. I cleaned everything up. I think I may have to buy some light bulbs. I can't recall. We'll check that later. I'm getting ready to try to polish these lenses. I cleaned them up. I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with them. So, you know, they're original, and but I think I might see if I can buff it with a polishing compound and see how they come out. I'll let you know on that if I decide to do that. Also painted the bumper holders, so they're all ready to go on, and then I just let them hang off the back as they dried. Other than that, I think we're looking pretty good, so I'm looking forward to getting this completed. Let me get a little more prepped, and I'll show you what I'm at. Alright, I've got everything pretty much put back together here, just ready to put on the fender. The tail lights are back in the car. I've cleaned up the area as best that I can, touched anything up that needed touching up, and I think we're ready to put it back together. I tested the reverse lights, made sure that they work. However, on the license plate light, the bulb was no good, so I need to get that, but it doesn't have to stop me from getting the rest done. So I'm going to bring the bumper back, put the bolts, or put the bumper bracket bolts on it, and try to get the reverse lights put in it, and then get ready to hang it up here. So Let me get you set up for that. All right, I got the bumper out of the package. It was wrapped pretty good. I don't see any damage to the bumper. I just wiped it off a little bit just so you could see it, because it had two layers of packing on it. One of them was like a plastic layer where I guess they put some kind of, I don't know, something on there so it didn't rust or something like that. So yeah, I got that cleaned up, and here's it's an AMD bumper for a 68442. So far I'd really say I recommend this bumper. It looks nice on both sides, so that's a big plus. It's good, sturdy, heavy. Hopefully that's the same company that made the front one, if you saw the front bumper on my car. I also got the rubber piece that goes between the bumper and the body, so I'll put that on. But first I'm gonna have to put the bumper support brackets on here, which is these holes right here. I got new bumper bolts for it, so I'll go ahead and stick them on, and also get the reverse lights mounted in here. You also have to mount the license plate holder on now, because once this bumper goes up, you won't be able to get to the bolts that hold on the bumper or the license plate. So let me go ahead and get that done. Okay, so I got the hardware on the bumper now. So I was able to get the reverse lights through. The reverse lights got to come through the backside, and then of course you got to feed the wire first, and then you got to feed this top over the wire through here, and then it catches on the back of the bumper, and then you tighten these up. But you have to watch that these are steel bolts, these are cast aluminum pieces, and they're not going to take a tremendous amount of torque, so don't over torque those bolts. Also, you'll notice that the bumper has these cutouts to catch the thing in just the right spot, so you have to get these to line up. There's 3 tabs. You just got to make sure you have that lined up, and that you have this sitting in a good spot to sit on there, and then you'll be good. Then of course I put on the bumper brackets. They're on there, but there's a little bit of, I didn't tighten them down just because, you know, they're slotted, because, you know, they have to move around to fit your car the way that it is. Then of course, like I was saying, this is where the license plate fits on the back. These bolts here, just a little tough, because this license plate's under spring pressure. It wants to, you know, collapse in on itself and make it harder for you. So I just stuck like an extension through there to open it up so it would fit on there correctly, and then I could get these bolts started on there, which you can't reach when this is sitting on the car. Same thing on this side. And the last thing that I did was put on these rubber protectors. They do more than protect. They're kind of like a little dress-up kit for your bumper, and just slid those on. So everything is ready to go now, so let's get it set up on the car.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't want.
All right, and the bumper is in. So I was pretty happy. The bumper went in a lot better than the front bumper. It's less complicated, less brackets holding it in, and it fit up there pretty good. I just had the braces a little bit loose, and then you saw me just maneuver it into position, and I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks, and the fitment is pretty decent. So yeah, so got that piece done. Obviously I got to get the exhaust fitted so that I can get my new trumpets on there. I still got to get the light for the parking, or the license plate, and then put the cover back on, but that's fairly minor. The trunk fits on there good. Everything looks like it lines up just like it did before, so I'm pretty happy with the look. I still need to replace this with the Cutlass S emblem And then I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with this chrome strip, whether or not I'm going to tackle it on the car or off the car. If I take it off the car, then I can put on the missing nuts, or I'll have to weld on those studs so that it holds the missing nuts. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. I don't know if I'll do it, because if I do that, I'm probably gonna end up with some more areas like this where I got a little bit of rust that I'm gonna have to deal with, and I'm gonna have some glue underneath, I'm sure. We'll see. I mean, obviously there's some areas in the paint here that should be redone. But well, I have to think about how much work I want to do that. Probably the next thing is to work on a convertible top, put some transmission fluid in the reservoir in the back. I'll show you how to do that probably in another video. I think I'll wrap it up for this video. At least we got the bumper on and everything painted up and looking decent in the thing. One thing I wanted to mention was I did go ahead and buff the tail lights. So basically I took the tail lights out. I used Meguiar's, I can't remember if it's 105 or 205, whichever the buffing agent is. And I put on a 3-inch buffer on my buffer. And we held these without the casing on it, so just the lens itself, and did it on a medium speed of like around 4 out of 6, and just polished it with the polishing compound, and they turned out real nice. There's no scratches or anything. They were in decent shape, but they're a little bit cloudy, so then I'm glad that we did that. They look a lot nicer and a lot brighter. So, and I was worried about this chrome that's around that ring there, but the buffer didn't bother at all. It didn't mess with it. If anything, it made the chrome look nicer. So I'm really happy with that. So you know, just wanted to let you know that you know, if I can do it, you can do it. And you know, I'll end it here for this video, but remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And until next time, ciao.
And